Welcome to Married to Portuguese. On each episode, my English-Irish husband, Bob, and I discuss and laugh about our life and adventures in the Portuguese culture.
Bom dia.
He started sooner than I thought. Bom dia. Bom dia.
I asked if you were ready.
I maybe I wasn't. I don't know.
I guess
I guess I wasn't.
Guess you
Oops. Oops.
Well, we have a slightly different topic. So, long story short.
Yes.
A couple years ago, we cut cable.
We did. We cut cable.
And it's really changed our viewing habits. And maybe they would have changed anyway. And now we're probably paying more for all of the assorted apps than we're paying for cable. So we, as the American consumers, we fell for that one. We just fell for it. But here's what we started doing that's really kind of changed things. So the end of the night, when you're like, I got like 15 or 20 minutes before I want to go to bed. I don't want to start a new program. What can we do? We're watching the YouTube app. Okay, built into our TV. And what we've been watching have been all sorts of very cool videos about like expats who've moved to the Azores or the mainland. Travel logs, and I mean every country is covered. Yeah. But we've been studying
fixing houses in Portugal.
Yeah, great ones where people have bought like ruined farmhouses.
Incredible.
And then channels that we weren't aware of, and they've documented their efforts over a couple of years, but then they'll condense them down into like a 20-minute
which is perfect
sped up video of all of the work that they've done. It's been great. And then there are so many videos, and we'll drop some links of our favorites in the in the show notes, but people who've made the move, and they talk about their experiences, some single folks, some families, and it's really interesting the contrast of opinions and the differing success rates of how they're doing based off of how they wanted to integrate with the townspeople,
the locals,
and whether they've
the language,
just
everything.
It's amazing to me to think of people who've made the move and they don't know anybody over there and they don't speak the language, especially since I'm struggling personally to learn the language. I think that is such a big leap, and the culture is different. Especially a lot of them all refer back to the bureaucracy,
right?
And how slow
everything is.
How slow that goes. Yeah. And, for the folks who are on visas and having to get the visas renewed and getting a really good head start to get that done, that's always interesting.
Yeah, the whole thing is interesting because for me, let's say going to the Azores, for example, I don't see it the same way you see it.
Right.
There's just, when I'm hearing people say stuff and I go, really? They say that? And you go, yes, Maria, I think that way too, or I thought of that too. And I'm like, well, I never thought of it that way because it's completely different to me.
Do you have an example for that?
Well, I think the thing of you talking about how, whether it's the way people interact with each other or sometimes,
the fact that you guys are always yelling at each other?
No, we're not yelling. We're just talking.
You're just
Hello.
enthusiastic.
We're very enthusiastic. We're very passionate people, Bob.
It really always sounds threatening.
There's no... You'd know if it was threatening. You'd know. And, if we're like yelling, but we're smiling, there's no threatening going on. And that's one of the things where, people are like, well, people are very, passionate about certain things or whatever. It's like, that's the way it is. It's just the way it is. It's like, I don't even think twice about any of that stuff. It's just the way we're wired, I guess. I don't know. But it's neat to see people who have no attachment, no family attachment to Portugal, to mainland Portugal, as well as Madeira, as well as the Azores, because that's what we've been watching. We've been watching people that are going to mainland, to Madeira, as well as to the Azores. So people who have no attachment whatsoever, but they saw it on TV somewhere, or they had it on their bucket list. And there are some people that they're like taking a backpack and they're like camping everywhere. Like I see that and I go, "Ooh, no, I couldn't do that." But these are, and they're people like our age and they're camping. I'm thinking, I'm not going to lay on the ground.
I'm not going to start doing that now.
No.
But you're right. I remember the video you're talking about. There was one young woman, and we never could figure out her accent. We don't know where she's from.
I think it was the Netherlands. I think she was Dutch.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. But she had gone to the islands, one of those work for your vacation where somebody puts you up. You can stay with them, but you have to work on their property for like 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so she did that, and she was on... It was San Miguel.
It was San Miguel.
It was San Miguel. And she would go walk the island or pick up a bus when she could. And, I mean, we recognized...
And hitchhike? I'm like, no way! I would not hit...
Okay, well, that's a tangent and a sidetrack.
I would not do that.
No, you would not. You also would not be working 6 hours a day on somebody's farm. So, like, there were all sorts of things wrong with that premise that you just weren't going to work. No. I really admired her bravery. I mean,
her tenacity.
Even she was like, I'm on an island in the middle of the Atlantic by myself. I know.
No one.
Nobody. And
so for us to go there, I mean, when we were in other islands, I still felt like I was at home. I did not feel like I wasn't home because the Azores are my home away from home. It is. And so, but when I'm in San Miguel, that's like, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's just
so far,
so
San
easy.
Miguel, virtually every other person we've met, your grandfather used to cut their hair. So we're always 2 degrees away from
my family.
From your family.
Always.
So being out on the other islands, that just puts us 3 degrees or 4 degrees out. So it would very much feel like that.
True.
And then we've had a lot of fun watching videos of islands that we haven't gotten to yet. Flores and Graciosa.
And Graciosa was the other one we saw just the other day.
And they're great. And you know what I really appreciate is there are 1,000 of these videos, all from different people and different voices, and you can always find one that kind of matches the amount of time that you have.
Yeah.
And some of them are really well made, and some of them are, shot with somebody's cell phone. But we always see something that we didn't know existed.
Yes, you're right. You're right on that.
Or some fact that we had.
You're right.
We hadn't caught up. And
although there was one the other day, I won't say which. You'll have to figure it out because when you start looking, the voice was aggravating the heck out of us.
Well, we may be aggravating some people too. I don't.
It's true. It was like the voice just droned. I'm like, okay, I can't listen to this for 15 minutes. I can't. So.
All right, that wasn't our cup of tea.
It wasn't.
But it was fascinating, and the ones for Flores. And
that was gorgeous.
Graciosa. I mean, Graciosa. They said the population is now 400.
No, more than that.
Or am I thinking Flores?
You're thinking Corvo.
Corvo. I'm thinking Corvo.
You're thinking Corvo.
Oh, that's right.
No, not Graciosa.
400
Graciosa
people, and there's only one village, right?
There's only one village. There's only one gas station. Oh, no. No, there's only one gas station. There's only, pretty much one of everything.
Let's say Graciosa, they had 2 gas stations.
2 gas stations in Graciosa.
And the hours seemed very intermittent. Very intermittent. And this one couple, they got there. I don't remember if they went by ferry or plane. And although they'd reserved a rental car, there were no cars for them.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
So they ended up renting a motor scooter. And so they were zipping around on the motor scooter. And then eventually the motor scooter needed gas. And they got to one of the 2 gas stations and it was closed.
Yep.
Closed. So they ended up finding a farmer. They must have been really in desperate states. They found a farmer who sold them some gas
that he had off to the side, probably saving for his tractor or something, and they sold him. Yeah. Great, but so it's neat. It's just neat.
And what they experienced, and when I say they, what some of these hosts experienced on Corvo as well as some of the islands, we saw too. More on I'm thinking like São Jorge and the smaller islands, was the helpfulness of
The people.
the other folks.
Oh,
And maybe
yeah.
because on São Miguel, we know folks. We're not necessarily looking for help like that. But I'm thinking of Paulo, the taxi driver on São Jorge, who took such good care of us.
Just took such good care.
You know, and then
Paulo and Paula, his wife.
yeah, and then on the way home from wherever he was taking us from, like, he stopped to show us an overlook that looked over his
feijão that he lives. Yeah.
And just, again, what a great guy he was. And I'm thinking of the people on Pico who were really trying to help us. And, same thing with
Fayal and Terceira.
So that was great. So I really like the videos that get into that level. I want to know how the people live and how they interact. And
right. The only thing on some of these that I want to say is, yes, a lot of beautiful visuals, but you're not going to see, like, people's homes, inside their homes, or them, interacting with too many locals besides, those that can speak English or their language that they, mostly all of them that are recording, they're not Portuguese. So... excuse me.
Well, bless you.
And so you're going to see the topography of the islands. Does that make sense? More than anything. And the thing that kind of blew us away, we were always told how beautiful Flores is. And we'll get there one day, God willing. But just seeing some of the visuals, the drones videos.
Really talented drone operators.
Are, like, breathtaking. So I know I get notices all the time, and I really appreciate it from everybody who's like, I've been watching your show, I've been watching season 1, I've been watching season 2 over again because of your show. Now we're going to the Azores, or because of this, because of that, which I love. I love hearing that. But I also want to tell you, besides watching and streaming Maria's Portuguese Table, get onto YouTube and just put in what? What do you put in for a just Azores?
Or put in an island that you want to see. That's probably a more specific way to start.
Right.
I'm just thinking of visiting the islands. Was it the couple that they went to Corvo and they took the boat from Flores? And it's, I don't know, 20 foot, 25 foot rubber boat. And they said it was a hard 45 minutes. They never imagined, it was a hard boat ride, slapping up and down on the...
it was a lot of slap, up the waves, down, and it was...
It was a little traumatic for them when they got off the boat.
Yeah.
And I guess there's one flight a day.
Only one. Depending on...
That goes back to Flores, and they couldn't get on it. There was...
Because the weather. Depending on the weather.
And it was a full flight, because it's a very, very small plane, because it's a very, very short runway.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm thinking, that wouldn't be me. If I could fly,
yes,
possibly. But the boat across the open water would not be me. But that's the stuff that you learn, like how people get from one island to the next.
Right. So yeah, folks. So we wanted to make sure that you knew about this. And if you didn't know, now you do.
Yep.
So this way you get to see the islands. You get to see all the islands. And you get to see different people. And obviously there's so many videos out there. So we just wanted you to give you something to watch and to enjoy for the new year.
Yeah,
so,
this is what we're watching when we can't be there.
That's it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for spending some time with us, and we will talk to you next time.
See you then.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we'd love to hear your ideas for topics. Ciao.